Hello everyone!
Sugeng siang konco-konco.
Today me and my friends we're going to present about the landscape and landform of Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta. But before we start our presentation, we would like to introduce ourselves, and I will start from me. My name is Jufi and I'm from grade 11.
And my name is Alta, I'm from grade 10.
But before we start to explain all the things about the landscape of Yogyakarta, we prepare a short, kind of like a short escape video, just to make sure that you guys know a little bit about Yogyakarta. So, hope you guys enjoy the video.
So here are our 10 points table of contents that you have to know. 10 might seem like a lot, but we are going to explain it briefly and you'll make sure that you'll enjoy it. First, we will start with the location of Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, or most ancient Yogyakarta says Yogyakarta. There's a lot of unique things about Yogyakarta, especially being the only city that's still ruled by the royal monarchy. There's a lot of ancient stuff happening there, something like the Ramayana ballet, the batik textiles, and then a lot of poetry and dramas. So in Yogyakarta, there are 5 districts here, including the Sleman, Bantul, Gunung Kidul, Progo, and the Kota Yogyakarta itself, or we usually call it Yogyakarta City. So it is geographically located in the center of Java, as you can see, the area and the elevation itself.
So next, we're going to discuss about the description of Yogyakarta. So basically, Yogyakarta is located in Java Island, and Indonesia, founded since like 1756, and the city is one of the foremost cultural centers of Indonesia.
So here are the 4 most famous destination for Yogyakarta that you can visit. So as we said before, there was 5 districts, but we're only showing 4 because the Kota Yogyakarta itself is not really that much. So first we have the mangrove forest in Kulon Progo, and then we have the Merapi volcano in Sleman, which is one of the most active volcano in Indonesia, and it's still active until today. And then Parangtritis Beach, we'll get into it later. There's a lot of myth and stuff happening there, and the limestone mountains in Gunung Kidul, and we're also going to get into it later. So as I was saying earlier about the Parangtritis Beach with the myth and a lot of magical stuff happening there, we believe that there are legends that says this woman exists. She's also called as Nyi Roro Kidul. So she is basically like the Poseidon of Indonesia, if you compare it with the Greek mythology. She is the ruler of the ocean, and it's believed that if you wear something green, her army will drag you to the sea. But again, this is only myth. So the scientific reason why you're not supposed to wear green or maybe blue to the Parangtritis Beach is because if in any case we got lost in the ocean, it would be a bit hard for the rescue team to find us. So the myth has actually science behind it.
Next, we're going to explain about the geomorphic processes of Yogyakarta. First, the landscape of gradient hill and plains. And second one is the geomorphological analysis indicator. So basically, as Aska said before, that Yogyakarta have Merapi Mountain, which is one of the active volcano mountain in Yogyakarta. and that makes mostly part of Yogyakarta was made from the eruption of that mountain, from the rock structure, from the sand, and etc. And next, the geographical features that Yogyakarta have. So there's a lot of tourism attraction in Yogyakarta. The first one, we have the Merapi volcano, we have this beach, which is really beautiful to see the sunset or the sunrise, and we also have Godian Hills, and we have Progo River to have some fun with your friends, playing in the water, swimming, and yeah, it's really fun.
So here are our climate and weather conditions here. So there's a lot of things happening even though we don't really have 4 seasons. So the climate in Yogyakarta is hot and oppressive and overcast over the course of the year. So here are the coolest months in Yogyakarta, which is January through March, and July and December. So the month will be with the most rainfall would be in January. It would fall approximately for 19 days more or less. And then the warmest months are April, September, and October, which are the best if you're looking for a summer vacation runaway. And then the month that's with the least rainfall in Yogyakarta is in August. And the best time to visit Yogyakarta is from May until October. Again, like I said, like summer escape. And it is 85% humidity. And in conclusion, it is very humid and you will sweat like crazy much. So yeah, but there is an exception though to Gunung Kidul, like I said before, with the limestone happening. So basically the land is karst. In case if you don't know what karst is something we learn in geography. So karst is basically the land is like chalk. It's so dry, if there's water coming to it, it would directly absorbs and it would fall down to the cave. Here are the visual representation of the climate and weather condition, so you'll have a better understanding of it. So here are about the animal and plants. Most of these are representative of all the 5 districts in Yogyakarta, but there's one fruit to make it a bit unique. So first we have the duruk bird, which is the fauna identity of Bantul, or sometimes it's called the Sunda-collared dove. But it's the fauna identity of Bantul. It mostly looks like it's pigeon, but it's a bit different. And next we have red anise bird, is the fauna identity of Sleman. And then we have the kukur bird. It's kind of similar to the duruk bird because of its visual appearance as a pigeon, but this one is a long-tailed pigeon. So it's the fauna identity of the Yogyakarta city. And then we have kacer bird, or some of you might read it as kacer bird, or scientifically it's called oriental magpie robin, is the fauna identity of Kulon Progo. And then we have honeybee, is the fauna identity of Gunung Kidul. And lastly, our most iconic fruit, which is the salak pondoh. This fruit might seem a bit strange. It might seem like it's a nut, but it is a fruit. It's very delicious. It's like apple, but it's super dry. But you have to be very careful with the skin. It's like a porcupine skin. So we have next trigger warning. So if you're uncomfortable with something like this, it's better to look away because there are a lot of insects mentioned, and yeah, I hope you're not that uncomfortable. So to avoid being super triggered, I'm putting cute pictures of grasshoppers here. So grasshoppers are actually a snack in Yogyakarta. I know you might be triggered, but this is a very unique snack, and a lot of people say it's delicious and nutritional, especially with the chili sauce that we handmade by ourselves. It has a crunchy, crispy texture to it, so people usually enjoy it. That's it for the trigger warning. Now you can keep enjoying.
Next, I'm going to explain about how humans interact with the landscape. So, first of all, cultural landscape. What is cultural landscape? So, cultural landscape is the landscape when people make use of it. They care about the plants, the animals, and that's what makes cultural landscape. And the next one is the humans interact with the landscape in positive ways. As what we explained before, there's a lot of tourist attraction in Yogyakarta, and it's really beautiful, and the local citizens really conserve, really maintains the tourist attraction in Yogyakarta. And the next one, each area make use of the landscape with different ways. So Yogyakarta is huge. It's like divided into some parts, like Aska explained before, 5 parts, the Sleman, Bantolan, etc. And every area they have their spatial the usage of the landscape. There is the plant, there's animal, there's tourist attraction, there is the beach and water. So yeah, the landscape in Yogyakarta is used in any different ways in every area. And move on to the next slide, I'm going to explain how do people value the landscape. Here, people value with 4 different ways. Just the first one is cultural landscape, like what Aska explained before, the myth, Roro Kidul, Candi Borobudur, Candi Prambanan, is like the belief, the myth of Yogyakarta local citizen. And the second one is the spiritual value. Basically, it's almost the same with cultural, the myth, the story behind any buildings, any traditional building in Yogyakarta. And the third one is aesthetic value, the tourist attraction. The Parangtritis Peaks, the sunset is really beautiful. The Candi Prambanan, which is, you can also visit Candi Prambanan or Candi Borobudur, is really good. And the last one is economic value. Like, we cannot deny the fact that we also we try to make profit from the tourist attraction. That's why we make it as, we value it by the economic value. We get profit from it, the tourists visit the place, and we get money from it. So yeah. And now the thread of the landscape. The fact that Yogyakarta is a city of the Indonesia island of Java, known for its traditional art, cultural heritage, so they really preserve the landscape. Like the 3 pictures below, the tourist attraction, the beach, the mountains, and the sea is really beautiful. So they really try to preserve, to maintain, because as I said in the previous slide, that is also part of the economic value for Yogyakarta local citizen. And the next one is Ring of Fire. Basically, Indonesia, not only Yogyakarta, but Indonesia itself was located in the Ring of Fire. So there's a lot of active volcano. In Yogyakarta, we have that Merapi Mountain. So we often get that like flood or a disaster or something like that. And that's why we have evacuation drill. Even here in Olifant, we have like every semester we practice evacuation drill. It's really fun. It's really a good like experience. So here in Olifant, sometimes when the time for us to practice the evacuation drill, just like the alarm ring, the alarm at the school, and we need to pack our bag and try to go outside without the building. So yeah, it's a good example, it's a good practice, and it's a good experience for us, so that later on, if that's really happening, really happened, we're used to it. Move on to the next slide. We're going to discuss about future management to ensure the protection of the landscape in Yogyakarta. So the first one is maintenance of diversity. Here in Indonesia, in Yogyakarta, we have a lot of religions, culture, beliefs. So it's really important to maintain the diversity, because that diversity really made our local beliefs and like traditional buildings. And the next one is the intergenerational equity or fairness in access to cultural resources and to the benefit flowing from them. Like as I said before, that we cannot deny that we try to make profit, we also try to get money from it. But at the same time, we need to remember that it's also part of our heritage. So we really need to be balanced between getting profit from it and maintaining the culture, the tourism attraction. And the last one is keeping the authenticity. It's really important to keeping the authenticity, because one of the criteria for the World Heritage Organization is to keep the authenticity. So that's all from our presentation, and thank you for listening.
And thank you for having your time to listen to us explain about our hometown.
Matur nuwun, sugeng siang.